Hi, welcome back to your guided notes for the HTE Hospitality Travel and Tourism, Hospitality, Tourism and Events summer class of negotiations and sales. And we are in conflict management book. We're on chapter 9. We are going to go over the guided notes for understanding the importance of the perception in negotiations. Alrighty, so there's complexity in perception because many times it's what we think people are thinking of us. And found on page 123, we're going to go ahead and give you the definition. So the fill in the blank is perception may be understood, as the process of selecting, organizing, and interpreting the stimuli. Stimuli is the things that are coming at you from body language to words to color to picture. In perceiving, we create what are called cognitive structures. Okay, that's a nice psychological term, isn't it? Um, Once again, personality differences found on page 124. I want to preference this a little bit because I did training on the Myers-Briggs type indicator. I usually give the MBTI exam in my introductory classes to help people understand their type. The Myers-Briggs has 16 types. In this book, it really discusses two main areas. The first one being extrovert and introversion, which I'd like to talk about a little bit. First of all, in the United States, 68% of the people are extroverts. And so those 32% who are introverts, um, well, they feel overpowered. And when you're in a negotiating situation and you've got a strong extrovert and you have a high introvert, the extrovert will dominate. Or doesn't mean to, but it's just their personality type that they will dominate the whole negotiation process. And the truth is that if your customer is an introvert, you really have to accommodate in the negotiation process to let them process what you're saying. Extroverts get their batteries charged by talking. Introverts get their batteries charged by being alone. So in a negotiation process, the extrovert is going to come with a lot of information, and the introvert needs an opportunity to process that. Then we have something called the sensing and intuiting. In Myers-Briggs, the sensing type personality is the one that likes facts and figures, follows some logical analytical order, whereas the intuitive type of style of person, they are the big picture. They want to tell you why it's good for everybody. If you have these types of personalities together and you have a big picture person talking about why everybody should do it, and then you have this sensing person who's just looking for facts, that negotiation is not going to go well. An introverted attitude and an introverted attitude and intuiting preference are abstract and internal in nature. They like to build concepts and theoretical frameworks. So if you're dealing with an introvert who is intuitive, that's not going to bode well for working with an extrovert and a sensing. And let me tell you, they're polarized in how they like to approach things. The extroverted attitude, concrete, external, everything's going to be out there on the table. The extrovert and the sensor, they want to build a pragmatic framework. This is why we do it. Here's the facts behind it. So this next concept in chapter 9, which is found on page 129, which is me, myself, and I concept, well, there are two components to it. This self-other, there's the one that how we perceive ourselves is differently than how others perceive us. Sometimes people, I'll reference me, I'm a more mature woman, PhD, so therefore they think I'm very scholarly and they want to be very formal. When they find out I'm not a real formal person, um, and that, I'm really much more down to earth than someone who thinks in esoteric thoughts, well, they perceive me differently than when they actually get to know me. That's me. The other component is the accuracy in knowing how we're perceived by others. So I know that people will look at me like that. They'll see, the little spectacles and the suit jacket, and their perception is that she's a little stuffy and she's formal. When they find out that really I'm much more comfortable, they're actually somewhat surprised. The role of perception in the goals and decisions. We go into a negotiation, and there's you have certain goals and certain outcomes you want to see happen. I don't know if you've ever had negotiations over a contract, but it might be safe to say that some of you have negotiated over to lease an apartment or to purchase a car. And those negotiation process, you have a goal, in particular, a car at a certain price, at a certain monthly payment, at a certain color with certain standards or certain options. You must go in with goals in order to effectively negotiate. So we're going to just briefly talk about that perception, not only attitude towards ourselves and others, but let's fill in the blank here, our goals and decisions as well. You need to know the goals, who can make the decisions. In negotiation, we should expect goals to go along with how we communicate and the decisions that the decisions that will be affected by that communication. I think this is a little bit of a short chapter. I'm sorry, I got to thinking I probably should have discussed a little bit more about the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. As a matter of fact, I hope that you will, if you were in my introductory class, you will refer back to your type. I give students back their types. Remember, there are 16 types. If you're interested in knowing, please send me an email and I'd be more than happy to provide that for you. Thank you again for listening to your guided notes. This is to help you with your online class. Thank you.